I love how angry people get about LinkedIn, but I get it. I get pissed off about TikTok sometimes. If we haven't met yet, hi, my name is Megan and I help freelancers grow their businesses. Every social networking platform has some degree of toxicity. That's the internet in general, all right? People become very brave when they're hiding behind their keyboards, and LinkedIn is no exception to that rule. In this video, you're going to learn about some of the more common toxic traps that people fall into on LinkedIn, sometimes unintentionally, and we're going to talk about how you can avoid them. First, let's start about humble bragging. I wrote down the definition because I knew I couldn't memorize it. So Merriam-Webster defines humble bragging as to make a seemingly modest, self-critical, or casual statement or reference that is meant to draw attention to one's admirable or impressive qualities or achievements. What does that mean? It means that you're bragging about yourself while trying to sound modest. Let's do an example. And I made this up. I'm not calling anyone out. I've been sick with COVID, bleeding from the ears, can't walk, and lost 20 pounds. During this time, I've closed $10,000 worth of business while simultaneously vomiting into a plastic bag. I wish I could do better, but I just don't have the strength. That's humble bragging. You're like, oh my God, I'm so fabulous, and I'm gonna tell you how fabulous I am, but I'm gonna try to be kind of sneaky about it so that you can't call me arrogant. Here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with bragging about yourself. My friend and colleague, Lauren, told me something that I will never forget. She said, be your own PR person. Okay, in other words, tell people about the amazing things that you're accomplishing. They have no other way of knowing. Tell it to your clients, tell it to your boss, let them know, hey, I did something really great. Or if someone says something really nice about you online, screenshot it and send it to your boss or a client or whoever. It's okay. If you have something you're proud to share, share it. But here are a few tips so that you can avoid, oh my God, there's a bug. Sorry. Let's go over a few tips so that you can avoid humble bragging, even unintentionally. Tip number 1, spit it out. You don't have to beat around the bush. Did you just land one of the biggest clients of your career? Say it. I just landed one of the biggest clients of my career. When I landed an $80,000 a year client, I made a YouTube video out of it. It was the title of the video. Just say it. It's okay. Good job. Tip number 2, say it with gratitude. You can be humble without humble bragging. So in the case of landing a huge client, you might say, I just landed one of the biggest clients of my career. I worked so hard for this, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity and everyone else who's helped me get here. Simple. That's how you brag about yourself while keeping it real. You say it, but then you express gratitude for it, which really we all need to be doing more of every day in general. A second toxic habit you want to avoid on LinkedIn, excessive embellishing. I love this one. It's not uncommon for people to stretch the truth a little bit when it comes to their professional history. My rule is don't say anything you can't back up. I never get caught with my pants around my ankles because I don't say anything I can't prove. That's why I'm also very good at arguing, something I'm sure my husband appreciates in me. Here's an example. I wrote this one down as well. So someone might put on LinkedIn that they're an award-winning, internationally recognized author and sales expert responsible for closing $5 million in business. But maybe the award they're referring to is an essay they wrote in high school 40 years ago that their teacher gave them a gold sticker for. Internationally recognized refers to this one time 3 years ago when a teenage blogger in another country linked to a piece of their work. And $5 billion in business actually refers to their company's total revenue for that year. Yikes. I'm not exaggerating, this stuff really happens. I want you to imagine that you're this person and someone DMs you and they say, tell me about this award that you won. What are you going to say? You either have to lie or you have to tell them the truth, which is going to be really embarrassing because it was something that happened 40 years ago. And when you put that on your LinkedIn profile, you knew perfectly well that you were intentionally misleading people, which is not nice. Don't mislead people. This is easy to avoid. If you're good at what you do and you're consistent, then over time, as a natural byproduct, you're going to have plenty of cool things that you can brag about. You're always learning and gaining new experiences, but making stuff up and exaggerating and adding fluff it's going to come back to bite you. One way to avoid this is to keep everything you say very concrete. All right, so here's an example. Let's say that you are a freelance social media marketer. You might be tempted to say something like, proven track record for creating content that goes viral, even though you know that this is false and no one can predict content that's going to go viral. That's another video. Nebulous and ambiguous statements like this don't really tell people anything about you anyway, so you want to be more specific. Say something like, I create original social media graphics in Canva, or I create data-driven strategies by monitoring metrics using Sprout Social, or I use Facebook ads to help salons collect new leads. These statements not only convey a specific message, but it's also stuff that you can clearly demonstrate. If you say that you run paid Facebook ads and someone says, well, can you show me an example? You can. The third toxic habit that you want to avoid is empty interactions. LinkedIn gets a bad reputation because a lot of people are using it to hard sell and only promote themselves. They send DMs cramming their rates and their services down people's throats. They leave generic comments on people's posts like cool or great, or even worse, they spam people's content with links to their own content. This one is really easy to avoid, my friend. Here are a couple tips. Tip number 1, don't hard sell. It doesn't work. I know that because I've tried. I land clients on LinkedIn every single month and I never hard sell. Use LinkedIn to start a conversation. The selling will come later, I promise. I have a few videos on using LinkedIn direct messaging to connect with clients, so I'm going to put all of those links in the description below. Tip number 2, only comment on people's posts if you have something of value to contribute. One-word comments are no good. Contribute something valuable. If someone shares that they discovered a really cool graphic design tool, you might comment and say, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to check this out. I make social media graphics every week. That's a valuable comment. And do not, for the love of God, comment on people's posts with links to your own work, unless that's what the post told you to do. This is a very easy way to piss people off, and you can also get your account suspended for spamming. On this note, I want to give you a gentle reminder that engagement pods or engagement communities are a terrible idea and they don't work, but that's for another video. In fact, I already made a video on that, so I'm going to put the link in the description below. Is LinkedIn toxic? Sure, so is everything. But I would argue that these platforms aren't inherently toxic. What determines that is how we use them. Everything has its pros and cons, but if you use LinkedIn in a positive, healthy, honest, valuable way, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Use it to promote yourself, yes, but also to serve others. Serving others is one of the best things that you can do to grow as a professional. And I know it kind of sounds counterintuitive, and it's something I kind of struggled with myself earlier on. Like, why would I spend my time, just giving, and not asking for anything in return? But I will tell you, I will argue after, seeing it happen for myself, there's a balance to be found. You can absolutely talk about yourself and help other people. And also, giving means you're going to get more in return. That's just how it works. It's good to give. Don't forget that I have a LinkedIn group for freelancers specifically. So, I think I just shook the camera, sorry. I'll put that link in the description below. I built this community to just offer you extra support and guidance. So if you're a freelancer, I'd love to have you there. And if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of how to use LinkedIn like a pro, I have a 55-page guide that I will link to below. Thanks so much for sticking around. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you're still watching, I'd really appreciate if you gave this a thumbs up to support my channel. And if you have any questions, just drop them in a comment, and I'll see you next time.